My name is Andris Grafs, as mentioned, and I work for Baltic Institute of Corporate Governance. And usually there's discussion about one-tier and two-tier system, but time to time is misspelled, one-tier or two-tier. But today, let's focus on one-tier and two-tier governance models. And what I wanted to start, and Bible already mentioned at the very beginning about the numbers, and my idea was that you will guess that, but as it was disclosed, indeed. So when we look to the OECD countries and the recent report from 2025, we can see that majority of our OECD countries work in one-tier board system. And this is historically. But what we can also see that those 7 countries, including Latvia, that are still in legislation where is a two-tier system, it's changing in other countries. So 18 jurisdictions already allow both, and this tendency is developing, and those discussions in several countries are going on. And even 3 have adopted hybrid type of structure, meaning that actually there are 3 layers, or there can be even 4 layers, how the companies can adjust frameworks, how the listed companies are adjusting, how to ensure that also minority shareholders are participating in the way that checking the audit statements and presenting those in annual general meetings. So if my task would be simply to describe how it works, what is one-tier, what is two-tier, knowing the data, it's getting more complicated, and actually it's more blurred situation currently because lines are blurring. So it's not like 10 or 15 years ago that it was quite simple. And this is a list of the countries, and usually we are searching or looking to Scandinavian countries, and for example, Sweden is two-tier system, but we'll come back to that. Talking with Swedish entrepreneurs and chairs of the boards, they're saying, well, yes, here we can find a Sweden in a list of one-tier, but actually we see things that we have two-tier system, because we have a board that consists of non-executive directors, and we have a CEO that is elected by the board. And as you have management board, instead of management board, we have CEO. Therefore, actually we have two-tier, but okay, let's call it one-tier. So therefore, there's sometimes not even necessary to draw the line or decide whether it's one-tier or two-tier, but we need to talk about the functions, and we need to talk how actually it's structured. From the historical point of view, so for the one-tier system, there is a board that consists of non-executive and also executive directors, so meaning the managerial executives can be also part of the board, and this is a huge discussion in United States, where by statistics also covered by OECD, we can see that CEO is at the same time chair of the board, and both are represented there, and this number, when the CEO is at the same time chair, is dropping down significantly. And when we talk about non-executive board members, only there we can discuss about independent directors or independent board members and those who are not independent. But in two-tier system, it's more simplified. We have upper tier where it's only non-executive board members possible. From those, part of them are independent. We can see for listed companies and corporate governance codes and recommendations that you need to have at least 1/3 or 1/2 of independent directors. So this is in two-tier quite possible. Sometimes when this is not clear, we are time to time also drawing and trying to answer to the question, who has a signature rights? Who is the one who takes a decision? And then on the one hand, it makes more simplified and it's more easy to answer, but sometimes it makes the things more complicated, because for Latvia and Estonia, there is a two-tier governance structure. Actually, CEO, we do not have CEO, we have chair of the management board. And we have even companies where we have chair of the management board and also CEO, who is elected by the management board. So let's complicate things more. But in essence, so regarding signature rights, so in one-tier structure, so the board hires CEO, and then CEO is the one who is searching for a team, for the leadership team who will help to ensure the strategy is implemented in practice and daily operations are managed quite well. So in Scandinavian countries and also Lithuania, so CEO is not a member of the board, but for example what I mentioned from Sweden, so usually, of course, the CEO is invited to attend board meetings, but the CEO is not a member of the board. And in a two-tier system, the board is electing the management board, so the decision is up to the supervisory board, and sometimes there are some surprises when the all management board is re-elected or the new board members are elected. Then you first day you see that, oh, this is your CEO. Hello, I am CEO. So such a situations can be also here into the system. So those are those classical models, and what I want to emphasize that we need to talk about the functions more and less how we are structured and how we are defined what actually is one-tier or two-tier model. Because if we have shareholders who are deciding the purpose why we are establishing the company, so this is quite a big clarity that shareholder role is there. Then we have somebody who is setting or approving a strategy and monitoring how the management is implementing the strategy on a daily basis. So in one tier, this Nordic way, there is a board that consists of non-executive directors, and then the CEO is not part of the board. So this is what the Nordic countries like to say, that this is our Nordic model. And we can find a difference. If we, instead of here, we would replace this management board we have, then we are calling it a two-tier system, but Swedish are saying, well, we have just one board, and therefore it's one-tier system. And then in United States and also UK, we can see this typical model when also management is part of the board with non-executive directors and executive directors. So this is the reason why we are naming board member as a director. Everybody's saying, well, I'm not a director. Director is head of the unit or something in company. No, but board of directors. So we see how it works there. And then we have typical two-tier structure where the supervisory board is there, who is taking the oversight function, and then we have a management board. And coming back to the roles, and why I'm really emphasizing that this is absolutely necessary to talk about the roles. Who is electing management? Who is setting KPIs? Who is approving strategy? Who is taking control function? And who is challenging management? And therefore, there is no good answer which model is the best or which governance structure is the best, because somebody needs to do this work anyway. And we have Volkswagen with a typical two-tier system, and we have Ford in the United States. Both companies are competing globally. Would we say that the way how Volkswagen governance structure is built is absolutely wrong compared to Ford, where is typical American one-tier system? So we cannot say. So therefore, the essence is who is having a seat in a board of directors? Who are those independent directors? How the decisions are made? You mentioned trust in the very beginning in opening speech. So how this trust is built. And then the management function, executing all the necessary steps to ensure that again, the strategy is implemented in a practice. Are there pros and cons? Obviously, yes. And sometimes when we are searching for faster decisions, we are saying if that would be one single board at a one-tier system, the decisions would be made faster. And probably there is a rationale to say that yes, the decisions could be faster. What about the liability and administrative burden? Sometimes management boards are saying, well, again, the supervisory board is requesting information and one board meeting is over, and then I start to prepare materials for the next board meeting, and the cycle is continuous. So when to run a business and when to ensure new opportunities in the market. At the same time, at a two-tier system, those who are saying the advantages, that it's quite a big clarity. who is in charge of what and how to ensure this oversight and independence. And this independence is repeating in several researchers globally, that if you are sitting in one board, and if you receive all the operational information, how to ensure that in case I want to fire CEO because of wrongdoing, or I need a new type of CEO, how this independence could work in practice. So this is quite a big question. Liability discussion. So today we will not touch this issue, but also one of the items what usually in research we can find is that liability is quite clear for the decisions what you are made or you didn't made. And if you're a supervisory board and you give consent to certain deals, then it's clear that this liability works perfectly for a board members or supervisory board members. But if you are in a single board and reviewing also operational issues, so what to do if the management is approving something but you actually do not agree there. And disadvantages, some alignment to this. Those who are part of non-executive directors, those who are part of executive directors, how to ensure that there is no group thinking. But again, for each argument, what can I find in international researches in a recent decade, there can be a good examples also that works in tutor systems. So this is not only the things that, well, this is the disadvantage of one tier, and therefore this will absolutely work in two tiers. So again, coming back, it is up to the persons who are seated in positions, what is shareholder structure, what is the market, what is maturity of the company, is it regulated or not, is it listed or not. So there are so many characteristics that describes that one or in one or other case, one or other model could be more suitable. So this is in brief what's going on globally. So just to repeat myself, I think one, it's very hard to give an answer which model is the best, because in corporate governance we like to say there are so many it depends aspects. And secondly, flexibility is something and tendency what is going on in OECD countries. So if more than 18 jurisdictions allow to choose which model to apply, so that would be absolutely good question. Shall the same approach would be implemented in Latvia, maybe also in Estonia, because Lithuania already have it. Okay, thank you.